Most people watch self-improvement videos on wanting to change themselves and their lives, but lack the emotional weight that encourages the action for change in themselves to happen. Bars. So if you want to change, I highly recommend you give this video your utmost undivided attention, put it in full screen, and watch this video to the very end, because you guys are about to learn some shit. Let me start by telling you a story. This was like a year ago when I was at a soul-sucking security job that I did not like. And during this time, I was acting like a compulsive, disgusting degenerate. At this time, I was just living each and every single day on autopilot, just going into work, getting out of work. And during my shifts, I'll just be doing the same things, which was ordering Uber Eats, eating snacks and junk food from the disgusting vending machine. Then on weekends when I didn't have work and I would get bored, I'll just go to parties with friends or just go on these apps called Monkey and Omegle and troll people to pass time. All the while knowing deep down I wanted to change. So during these months, I was contemplating whether or not I wanted to revamp the channel and become a self-improvement type of YouTuber. And I'm not gonna lie, bro, during these times, and I still do it now, but during these times I was heavily like educating myself on how to become a better influencer, even learning tactics on how to become a better marketer, better storyteller, and a better overall content creator and entrepreneur, since I looked up to people like the Alex Hormozis, the Iman Ghazis, the Hamzas, and Andrew Tates, etc. But there was a problem. And this problem I'm about to tell you is something you're gonna relate to, and that's the fact that I had better romanticizing the fact that I had these big ambitious goals of revamping the channel to become revolved around self-improvement and impact the lives of many people. But the problem was the type of person I wanted to become and the type of person I am right now were not congruent, and they could not coexist until I had this moment of urgency and emotional weight to change. So essentially, bro, I had to kill my old self. Not literally, for some of you dumbasses, I mean like figuratively. And to solidify this, let me tell you a quote that's from David Goggins. You have to be willing to go to war with yourself and create a whole new identity. Now, believe it or not, we all have an identity, whether we want to accept that fact or not. So for example, if you're someone that goes to the gym a lot and you eat a relatively healthy diet, based on those actions alone, your identity will reflect the type of person that is healthy and is more likely to be described as like an athlete or athletic type. Now, let me give you an opposite example of an athlete, a lazy person. Now, the best example I could think about of a lazy person that does lazy things is a weed smoker, someone who smokes weed a lot, right? Now, this is just my personal experience, but I've never met a productive weed smoker, because most of them that I've met are very lazy, and it basically translates over to everything else that they do. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So the weed smoker would have the identity of someone who's a stoner, or in other words, a drug addict. So just comparing those two, obviously one sounds worse than the other. And if you make someone aware of what they are based on their habits, they'll either take offense to it or see it more as like a compliment. So for example, if I were to call someone a stoner who knows that they're a stoner, they would likely try to disagree with that notion. They would likely have a problem with that comment, compared to someone who exercises regularly. If you call them a healthy person, they would say like, thank you, bro. Thank you, I like that, I am. Yeah. And the reason why they would see that as a compliment is because being seen as an athlete, being seen as like a healthy person is associated with more positive things. Let me give you one more example before you guys click off, because I know your attention spans is like wavering. Another example is someone who gets good grades in school. If they view themselves as someone who gets A's, they'll likely do the habits that gets them straight A's. So that person will identify with being more of a scholar. And something crucial that you need to know is that most of your identity will have labels to them, and the first method of change within anything in your life starts with your identity. A lot of people won't be too pleased to hear this, but the reason they can't change is because they have not adopted the habits and actions required to become that person to change. Like, you want to change, which is great, but the issue is that you don't feel the need to change. In order to change your life, you must change yourself. I'm gonna say it again. In order to change your life, you must change yourself. That's some philosophical shit right there. I'm spitting, let me explain. So in order to change yourself, you must emulate the thoughts, habits, language, and beliefs of the ideal person you want to be. So for example, if you would like to start going to the gym, start small. Go to the gym once a day for 10 minutes a day. And I know this sounds simple, but this is where most people fail. The reason most fail is because people usually have false expectations of where they currently stand. And so what happens is they make it like a hard challenge to start that habit, but they're not accustomed to it yet. So for example, someone will stay at the gym for like 30 minutes, do multiple workouts, stay for an hour, which is nice and it's great. But the thing is, they'll quickly find out that they jumped too far ahead of making that a habit, resulting in a new habit of going to the gym too hard to do. But if you just start small, like you see my fingers, like just start small, bro. Just start small. Like if you just start small and you make it laughably easy to do, you're likely going going to do it. All right, I think that's a terrible Gary Vee impression, but you get the point. Then after going for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you can then switch to 20 to 30 minutes. Then sometimes you may relapse and go back down to 10 minutes, but that's okay. Like, even though consistency is like a big thing in this, each time you do that action, it's like a vote for the person you want to become. Or let's say reading. Now, immediately when I said reading, people are now on the fence about it due to the schools giving reading a bad rep and making us read things like Holes or like The Great Gatsby and leaving reading like a disgusting, like putrid, like repulsive, well, the words mean disgusting, just overall bad taste in our mouths, right? Because we would usually have to read for an assignment or a grade in a class, which took the joy out of reading. But forget about all the books that you were forced to read during your time in the education system. The books I'm specifically talking about that you are likely going to enjoy because you're getting real education, your self-education. I'm referring to self-help books. It's such a hidden gem in your self-improvement journey with any endeavors that you want to do that I'm surprised like not a lot of people talk about it oftenly, but self-help books are like the greatest sources in my self-improvement journey and are the fundamental reasons why I'm able to help you guys the way I am in this manner. So in order to do this and make this a habit, despite hating reading for most of my life and only reading picture books like Diary of a Wimpy Kid or Captain Underpants, manga, I had to adopt the mindset and the identity of a reader. So like I mentioned before, I would start off small by reading 5 to 10 pages of a book a day, maybe even less because my brain was fried, until it resulted in that 5 to 10 pages being 10 to 20 pages, then 20 to 40 pages, and so on and so forth, until it became a part of my routine and a habit. But I think you guys get the point. And now that you have that in place, like I hope after me telling you this, you start reading, because that's very crucial. We now need to tackle why you should change the language you use. Because the shit you say to yourself, they cast spells. A lot of people sabotage themselves without even realizing they are casting self-limiting negative beliefs and thoughts about themselves. Examples are, I don't know how, I can't do this, or I could never, are all disqualifying languages that people subconsciously use without even trying that said thing first. Like, okay, if you did it 1,000 times, you put 1,000 of hours into the things that you say you can't do, then all right, you got your answer. But if you haven't even tried it yet, why are you already disqualifying yourself? And the language you use on yourself is so overlooked because people don't think about the impact that words have. Like hell, me talking to you in the manner that I am has some type of impact and emotional weight onto you if you're watching this far into the video. And not just from me giving you like motivation, but just things like insults or any other words or phrases or sentences that could change your emotional state cast a spell on you. So I'm literally casting a spell on you right now, but so do the words you use on yourself. It's no different. It's changing your emotional state. Whenever you tell yourself these disqualifying things to not try something, you're basically hindering any type of success in your life. Objections to your own growth is the most common reason why most won't change, specifically due to their self-imposed limitations that they put on themselves. And the simplest way I can tell you to stop doing this to yourself, like casting limiting beliefs on yourself in the most concise, specific, autistic manner that I can, is to tell yourself that you can do these things. And I know it sounds wishy-washy and it sounds like, oh, if I just use words of affirmations and tell myself I can do it, I can actually do it. Sort of. Or here's another good alternative. If you can't do them right now, say that you at least try and get better at it with time, of course, and see what the results look like. Basically, you know that you're ass right now, but you know that eventually with time, if you keep practicing 1,000 reps of doing the same things over and over again, you'll get decent. You'll get relatively good. Cause I think there's like a study that said that if you practice something for like 40 hours, you'll get like decent at it. And obviously your actions will need to follow pursuit with doing these mantras, but basically what you're doing is you're wiring your brain and giving it like a firmware update. So you know how like with iPhones, like they update randomly? You're basically giving your mind a firmware update. So that way your thoughts, actions, and beliefs are all in alignment with each other. The thing is, most people think that they have to be pros at something before they even start. But I'll be honest, that's a very stupid way of thinking. It's like starting your first clothing business or YouTube channel and expecting the shit to blow up overnight. Well, you know what happens to overnight success. Like people who blow up too quickly, they tend to fall off. But when you haven't even uploaded like 10 videos and have never sold a product ever in your life, you can't expect extraordinary results off rip. Like you gotta put in a lot of reps and get the lessons from it, which builds character. So in order to fix this line of thinking, you gotta tell yourself that you can do it. You can do it, bro or sis. That's what having a growth mindset is versus having a fixed mindset that only allows objections restrictions and limitations into your life. Like, bro or sis, I always gotta emphasize if there's any girls watching, they're polar opposites. And not just that, it's more empowering to know that you're capable of doing something just as much as the next person. Like, if they can do it, why can't you? And don't come up with any objections or any excuses or try to say, oh, my situation. Shut up. I don't want to hear that shit. Like, this is what I tell myself when I'm always doing something I want to learn or there's something worthwhile that I want to achieve. If they can do it, why can't I? Because here's the thing, when you use negative language on yourself, it's inevitable that you'll suck because you'll do the actions and habits that solidifies that belief. And that's by not trying at all. And then at that point, it becomes true, even though it wasn't necessarily true before. Like, bro, words are powerful. So be careful with what you say to yourself. Like, I know when people have negative beliefs, it usually comes from something that happens in early childhood where someone called them ugly, not smart, not capable, or just imposing their own worldview and limitations of how they view themselves onto you. Don't listen to that bullshit. So if that was the case, forget about it. You just haven't done, but you gotta just try to be more optimistic. Hell, bro, I say even be delusional. If you're at least delusional with it, you're likely going to do it. And if you do the thing or whatever you're trying to do enough times, you're going to suck a lot less. And the less you suck due to the reps you put in, it becomes more natural and second nature to you. Now, using the law of cause and effect, that habit is a part of your new identity. Then lastly, before I close off this video, I need to mention how you must commit to small wins. If you're watching this far into the video, honestly, clap it up for yourself because you're showing me that you really want to change. For example, you want to lose weight, which is an awesome goal. Like, power to you if you're trying to lose weight, right? Right now, I'm gonna peer pressure you. Yeah, I'm one of those. If you're really about it, then be this type of person that wants to lose weight. And so by doing that, become the type of person that moves around every single day. That's your identity now. Then do cardio, walk 100 steps a day, and reward yourself not with ice cream or any junk food, but buy a home treadmill. That's your reward for yourself. If you want to become stronger, become the person who doesn't miss workouts. Again, that's your identity. Then lift heavy weights, progressively overload week by week, and go to the gym Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Just 3 days out of the week. That's a small win. Now, I think at this point you get what I'm trying to say. You essentially get specific and identify the person you need to become to get that desired outcome and gain clarity on the thoughts, habits, actions, and beliefs of that person you need to be. Not what you want to be, but need to be. And notice how I put need, because when you need to do something, that creates that sense of urgency to change. And not just that, that will inevitably result in inevitable fast changes in yourself when you fully commit and gain clarity on the type of person, if you pour your whole heart and soul into committing to that desired goal. But yeah, that's all I got for this video. If you found value from this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so this gets shared out into the algorithm for someone who needs to hear or see this. I'm gonna see you guys. Peace.